This is me, chatting away about a fear of flying whilst being in an airplane full of people, and realizing that as I was speaking about my traumas with a fear of flying, I might actually be traumatizing some of the other people around me. So here I am outside of the plane and ready to tell you all about my fear of flying and what I've done to actually get past it. I wanted to start this video off by actually telling you about how my fear started. And I'm actually doing this video because you all get to see the destinations where we land, where we end. But very few of you know how traumatizing it is for me to actually get there. And I want to be transparent on this channel. So, in about 2022, we came back on a flight from Thailand. We were hit by, let's say, moderate turbulence. And I mean, it wasn't as bad as you've seen on the movies, with all of the oxygen bags falling out of the roof of the plane. It was nothing like that, but it awoke something in me where I just got this fear of what if I die on this plane today? So from there, with each flight that we took, these were flights to Bali, to the Maldives, and many other locations which actually require quite long haul flights. And during each one of these flights, I was clinging to my husband's arm. I was in a constant state of panic, scared that we were going to fall, something that I never experienced before. And it got to a point where I told myself, okay, I need to do something about this. So in 2025, I took 18 flights. This included international flights to Vietnam, to Mozambique, as well as domestic flights to Johannesburg. And I challenged myself with each flight to just survive a little bit longer without staring at the screen, watching that little mini plane fly across the globe, and to actually just try and not get a panic attack. And what I realized helped me the most was to actually sit and think about what are my triggers, why do I feel like this, and how am I going to address them. So, whilst being in a 10-hour flight, I wrote them all down. It came down to 3 main aspects, and that is what I will be discussing here today. So, the number one trigger is, of course, turbulence. To help you understand how to deal with turbulence, you actually need to understand what turbulence is. So there are two general types of turbulence. One being the turbulence which is caused by weather. So that's where you have storms, and this actually creates those bumps and jolts in the air. That is something that pilots can actually avoid quite well. They have radars that pick up on it, and that is actually one that you should sort of be less scared of. The other one is called clear air turbulence, or CAT. So CAT is when two objects moving at different speeds in the air meet, and it creates these jolts and these movements, which is what we feel. But something that you can be very happy about is that this is also actually not a cause of death or a leading cause of death, but it is a cause of injuries in flights. And this can actually be mitigated quite easily by wearing your seatbelt. So my tips for addressing this fear that I've figured out are to, number one, wear your seatbelt. It gives your mind and your body that sense of safety, that sense of relaxation, that you are wearing something that can protect you to a certain extent. You won't be bumping up and down in the air, having luggage fall all over you. That is obviously a very extreme scenario, but at least you are safe in your seat. The second thing is to know that in each flight, there will probably be turbulence. Don't expect a flight that is going to be silky smooth, where nothing is happening and there's no movement that you are feeling. This is unrealistic, just like you driving on a road, a gravel road, even one made of tar. There are always going to be these little bumps in the road, and you will feel them. And I mean, when we're on the ground, that doesn't scare us. But when you are 30,000 feet up in the sky, of course, this is going to be a trigger, because those jolts and those movements actually make you aware of how fragile you are up in there. Then my third way to address this is actually to just have a mind shift. Remember that this pilot flying the airplane has done this for thousands of hours. Him or her, along with all of the cabin crew, have done this for so many hours. They basically spend their lives up in the sky, and they are fine. There is no reason why you shouldn't be too. They have so much experience, and they know exactly how to deal with an event of turbulence. That's why they ask you to put on your seatbelt, to take a seat, because they want to protect you and they want to actually make you feel safe. The next trigger is an overstimulation of senses. Now, what I mean by this is you are sitting in a plane. There are loud noises. You are seeing all of these visuals in front of you. People are walking around. There are a lot of movements. And of course, all of this feels very intimidating if you have a fear. So I then decided to see what I can actually do to lessen the stimulation on my senses. And the first and best thing that I have done is buy myself a little pair of these. These are noise cancelling earphones, and they have made the world of difference to my flying experience. You don't need to have the most expensive set, nothing like that. You just need something that is going to cancel all of those noises that you are not familiar with, and that is going to give you that sense of peace. It's sort of like a what mama doesn't know won't hurt her type of situation. So there might still be noises, but you are not immersed in those noises. It's not creating that fear and giving you that sense of, oh my goodness, something is happening, but I don't understand it. I don't know what is happening. So that is what I do to actually lessen that overstimulation on my hearing sense. On my visual sense, I prefer looking straight ahead when I start to feel nauseous, when I start to feel like things are becoming a bit too much for me. I prefer to just focus on the seat in front of me. Some people prefer to look out the window. Whatever works for you, do that if it gives you that sense of stability and it makes you feel a little bit calmer. And then, of course, you have movement. This can also be terrifying when the plane is moving left and right and up and down, which also flows together with turbulence. But the one thing that you have to do in this situation is actually relax your body. Relax your stomach, your back, your legs, everything, and just sink into your seat. You will see it makes the world of difference when you have that sense of stability and you feel that little bit of calmness come over you. Instead of sitting upright, clenching your whole body together, which creates that sense of something is wrong and your mind is spiraling out of control. It really helps to just sit back and relax. I know it's not always that easy, but all of these tips that I'm giving are things that you need to train. You need to tell yourself that this is going to make my flying experience better. And at the end, your mind is going to form these habits which will actually allow you to stop this fear before it creates a phobia. Finally, the last trigger is a loss of control. If you are a type A personality like me, I like to plan everything. I like to know what is happening. I like to have that sense of control over my life. And when I am 30,000 feet up in the air, I know that there is no control over what is happening to me. I need to let go and know that the pilot, the cabin crew, and whoever is your higher power, they have got you. And what I have just realized throughout my whole flying experience is that you are up in the sky. You have made that choice because you need to go to work, you need to travel, you want to travel, and you have taken on this risk, because with anything in life, there is a risk. So instead of trying to control the situation, trying to sit there and in some magical way make the pilot fly the plane in the way that you would like him to by just staring straight ahead, you need to accept that this is a risk that you took. You need to realize that there's nothing that you can do about this at this point, and you need to move on. Think about what is coming. Think about your destination. Get a good book and immerse yourself in something else than the fact that you are flying in the air. This is one of the most key things that you need to realize, is that if you are going to sit for 10 hours staring straight ahead at either a movie that you are not really watching or the little plane on the screen, you are going to have a terrible time. So actually watch your movie. Read your book, listen to music, do anything that gets your mind into a space of, I don't have control, but that is okay. I'm doing something that I like. And you'll see it's going to make a world of difference to your whole life. These are all of the tips that I have. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope that they work for you. I am still learning and still overcoming my fear of flying, but it's getting better with every flight. Please leave a comment down below about your experience, what your triggers are and what you do, and please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Keep on finding fortunes.